So my name is BurTia, and this is my presentation on electronic waste for CSCI 1041 for the spring 2021 term. So the question being addressed for this presentation is, what is electronic waste? So simply, electronic waste can be classified as the disposal of any type of electronic device. This can be either proper or improper disposal of these devices. Most devices are disposed of after what we would consider their useful life stage. This is when they are no longer useful to the person who owns them. So how is this waste created? It is created by simply throwing electronics into the trash without consideration of the materials inside of the device. When they are thrown away instead of improperly disposed of, they end up in landfills, which can keep the materials from being properly handled or even recycled. Often, most people don't know that their devices can and should be recycled, which they just consider them junk and have been thrown out into the trash. So why is this an issue? If the devices do end up in our landfills and are not properly disposed of, they can leak toxic materials into the soil and potentially into water sources. Some of these major harsh chemicals that can be found in the electronic devices are beryllium, cadmium, mercury, and lead. So just some examples of electronic devices that could be considered electronic waste are microwaves, cell phones, computers, hard drives, also DVDs, gaming system, lamps, and cords and cables. So here are some pictures and a figure to help kind of provide a visual aid as to how large of a problem improper disposal of electronic devices can be. The picture on the top left-hand side shows cell phones and desktop keyboards, whereas the photo on the bottom left corner just shows a large pile of cell phones. And then, of course, the graph on the right-hand side is from 2011 to 2013, and it shows the total amount of e-waste produced and how much of that was actually recycled. So you can see in 2011, 25.8% was recycled compared to the 40.4% in 2013. So there is an increase in the amount of recycling and a slight decrease in the total amount of e-waste being produced. So the real question is, what can be done about the electronic waste? First, we have to look at how they are currently being disposed of. The most pressing matter is that very few people are aware of the dangers of improper disposal, along with the fact that their devices should and can be recycled. So again, most people just end up throwing their devices into the trash, where they can end up in our landfills. Lastly, it's something that's not commonly done because the process of it is extremely difficult. So most of the waste that is being thrown away has to be hand sorted. From there, everything must be dismantled, large pieces become shredded, and any useful materials that can be reused need to be smelted down. So what can we do? You can start by giving your electronics to a certified e-waste recycler. These are people that have the ability to be able to handle the waste. There are also some electronic companies that have drop-off points where you can bring in your electronics and drop them off there for them to properly dispose of as well. You could also sell your unused electronics rather than throwing them away if they are still able to be used. So like a gaming system you don't use anymore, you could sell rather than just completely throw away. An important thing to take note if this is your plan is to remove all of your personal information from anything. And sources.